Hey, it is 12 noon on Friday, my favorite day of the week, not because it's Friday, but because of State of Real Estate every 12 noon, every Friday. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, hit the subscribe button. Best place to do that is at tampaschool.com/success. That's our success center. Lots of videos and tools to help you build a successful real estate career. That's what we started this show, State of Real Estate. Not to talk about the state of real estate, but really to talk about your state of real estate, to talk about how it is that you can take your business to the next level, whether you're just starting your business out, maybe your business needs some revitalization, or you're just looking to take it to that next level. That's what we talk about every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, and today we're talking about ways it is that you can find your first clients. Now, this topic is also super useful if you're just at a point where you're trying to get some clients and maybe you don't have any money to invest in advertising or anything like that right now. Look, when you're starting out as a new agent, I don't recommend that you spend money on advertising. We're going to talk about how it is that you should be finding your first clients on this week's episode of State of Real Estate. So stick with us. I'm John Charismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Charismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. This is a live stream, so if you guys have questions about any of this stuff or something it is maybe you're concerned with about finding your first couple of clients, drop it in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay of this and you're not watching it live with us right now, we still go back and answer the questions in the comments. So definitely leave the comments in there. We'd love to help you build a successful real estate business. So let's first start off with my philosophy, my recommendation for you when you're starting your real estate business. So when you're starting your real estate business, there's a few different ways it is that you can get leads. So for sources of leads, Now, the way it is that most leads are generated in the real estate industry, because you could do this at such a high volume because all it does is cost money, is through advertising. So advertising, whether you're doing stuff you're sending in the mail, whether you're doing Facebook ads, whether you're doing Google ads, or there's a million ways to advertise a real estate business. I don't recommend advertising for new agents. The reason why is, as a new agent, you'll quickly find out there's still a lot it is that you have to learn to kind of pick up, and your first couple of deals are maybe going to be a little bit rough. Now, with the proper training and whatnot, things can typically go a little bit smoother, but eventually you got to get yourself out there and make some mistakes, have some errors, have some deals fall apart before you really start to know what it is that you're doing, how to keep deals together, and really be a true professional. Now, if you're spending money to get that business, you can very quickly run out of money. And with advertising, I mean, there's just so much to manage with advertising if you're doing it yourself, or if you're paying somebody to manage it, it becomes so much more expensive, and it's hard to get a good return on your investment when you're first starting out. So for that reason, advertising is a great way to get clients, spending money to advertise, and once you're ready to start scaling your business, the more advertising you do, typically the more business it is that you're going to get. But as a new agent, I do not recommend advertising for financial reasons, for your business not just being ready to advertise yet, for so many reasons. Advertising is essential at a later point in your career, but when you're first starting out, you don't need to be worrying about advertising. You need to be working on capitalizing on the leads it is that you're getting through, whether it is advertising or these other means it is we're going to talk about. So that's one source of leads, is advertising. Now, where a lot of agents are going to look for their leads is brokers. So a lot of agents will pick their broker based on whether or not it is that they will give them leads. And it's not necessarily a bad way to start your real estate career, but it's handicapping you a little bit for the long term. So the reason why I don't recommend it is that you rely on your broker for leads is you don't have really any control of how many leads it is that you're going to get. You don't have any control of the types of leads it is that you're getting. You're not having any control of when it is that you're getting these leads. When you're taking the initiative yourself to seek out leads, it helps you really understand how this business works and how you can really scale this even further. Now, a lot of agents will rely on their broker for new leads, and that's a lot better than advertising. Now, typically, if your broker is supplying you for leads, they're maybe charging you a higher commission split, or maybe they're charging you some sort of monthly fee, because with this, the broker, they're in business to make money, and the way they make money is not off of selling real estate themselves, but by helping you close deals. And sometimes that does involve helping you get a lead. But when you're able to get the leads yourself, it's usually a little bit more rewarding of a process for a lot of reasons. There's really no bad lead. Look, if you're able to spend $10 and get a lead, that's a great way to advertise. It's probably going to cost a lot more than that, which is why I don't recommend advertising right away. Brokers, they're a great source of lead as well, but again, you've got to kind of pay attention to what those costs are, what that trade-off is that you're getting from the broker for that lead. Again, it might be good for your business, but that's not the way it is that I would recommend as far as my philosophy goes for obtaining leads. Now, another great source of leads are friends and family. So your friends and family, people it is that you know, what's also called your sphere of influence. This is another source, another place it is that you could find leads. And what's great about this are these people already trust you for a certain extent. Again, the reason why I don't like this, because we'll get to the one that I've really recommended, is that you do to really build a real estate machine. But the friends and family, so the benefit here is that these people know you. They already at least have some level of trust with you. You don't have to establish that. These leads you're getting from outside sources, you have to establish and build trust and build rapport with the client so they understand that you are a professional, that you do know what you're doing, which can be a little bit difficult when you are new to the real estate business. Now, your friends and family, they might already know that you're new to the real estate business, but they trust you. And that's something you definitely want to rely on and lean on with the friends and family, is the trust. But here's the issue. You might not have a lot of friends. You might not have a lot of family. Or maybe you do have friends and family, but maybe they don't trust you. Or maybe you do have friends and family, but they're just not ready to buy or sell a house at this point in time. Our job as a real estate professional is not to convince people to buy or sell the house. It's to assist them in the process of buying and selling their house. There's people out there who are not ready to buy or sell a house, and it's unethical to try to get them to buy or sell a house when they're not ready. There's a difference there between when they truly aren't ready to where maybe they just think it is that they're not ready, but they really are ready. And it's our job to kind of counsel them through that process, to be there to be that helping hand. We're there to help them, not just sell them. That's where we're a business of assistance. So with the friends and family, it's good to kind of start to understand, start talking with real estate about them. This is something, so when you're new to the real estate industry, you should be living, sleeping, breathing, eating real estate 100% of the time. Even if you've got another job you're doing during the daytime or during the nights or weekends or whatever it may be, even when you're at that other job, you're thinking about real estate. When you're going to bed at night, you're thinking about real estate. When you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about real estate. When you're talking to your significant other or your spouse, you're thinking about real estate. And what happens is the more it is you start to think about real estate, the more it is you bring real estate into your everyday topics of discussion. This is great for you because it's going to help make you more fluent and better able to communicate topics about real estate. So you constantly want to be thinking about real estate. But when you bring it up in conversations you have with friends and family, I mean your spouse, it's still good to bring up real estate discussions with them, but they're not going to be a client unless, maybe you're divorcing them or something like that. Then even then, though, they probably would want to use somebody else to help them buy their home. But for maybe extended family, maybe parents, maybe brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle, grandparents, whatever it may be, that might have a real estate need, you don't want to go out there into this friends and family space and saying, hey, I got my real estate license. Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to sell a house? No. It's our job to counsel people because even if they are ready, they might not know whether or not it is that they're ready. That's why we want to talk to them about real estate, talk about maybe what's going on. Something interesting it is that we find. How do we find these interesting things? Well, you want to follow real estate news. I'm usually a big proponent, a big adversary to, news channels and things like that, especially when they're just talking about politics that have no effect on your life, or maybe they're talking about something that is completely unrelated to you, or just some news story of something horrific that happened, or some shooting that happened, or anything like that. Yeah, these might be terrible things that happen or great things that happen, but how does it impact you at a personal level? And typically the answer is it doesn't. That's why I choose to avoid that information for as much as I can. It's hard to avoid it 100% now. Even if you just go on Facebook, you get bombarded with this information. But try to avoid that information, but you do still want to seek out information and news for that matter, but it's industry-related news. News about real estate, news about the local market it is that you're in about real estate. And these are even things about new developments, maybe a new restaurant going in, maybe a new, I was talking with somebody earlier about the Armature Works that we have here in Tampa, and it's a great place if you haven't checked it out yet. And it's really neat because it's something pretty unique to the Tampa Bay area where really we haven't had anything much like that at all. But there's so many new developments, and these are things people, you can talk to people about restaurants. You're like, oh yeah, that restaurant just went in here. I can't wait to see what that does to property values around that area, because people are really going to want to start moving closer to these things that are happening there. And now you start this discussion about real estate, and you kind of just, again, it's a skill that you'll have to learn to communicate about real estate in a way that doesn't bore people, that makes people want to talk to you. But that's how you find out if your friends and family have a need for real estate. Where this will go wrong is if you're trying to push that need for real estate services on your friends and family, or you're trying to push really anything for that matter when they don't need the service, or they're not ready, or you haven't built good enough rapport and trust. Because look, your friends and family will trust you, but they probably won't trust you yet as a real estate professional. Even if you've gone, taken the course, passed the exam, they still might think you don't know what it is that you're doing. So you have to prove to them that you do know what it is that you're doing. Maybe talking about that this training program you just completed, or this thing it is that you just learned, or all the stuff it is that you're doing to really show that you're a living, breathing real estate professional. But friends and family, so you might be able to pick up a deal or two out of your friends and family. And that's maybe over the span of a year. Maybe if you've got more friends and more family, maybe a little bit more than that. But you'd be lucky if you get one deal a year out of your friends and family. Maybe from a referral from them or something like that. But the problem with this, unless you're a very popular person or you have a very large family, it's a very limited scope. But even if you do have a large family and you're a popular person, you still have limitations to your sphere of influence, which is why I'm not a fan and a big proponent of the sphere of influence source of leads. I mean, really, these first three, they all have their purpose, and you should not avoid any of them. If you could have all of these streams of leads going at the same time, that's fantastic. If you're having those, you should always, whether you're trying to get leads from your friends and family or not, you should always be having those discussions with your friends and family about real estate things. So you just simply become more fluent about communicating about real estate, just kind of piquing their interest, getting them to have that discussion with you, finding out if maybe they know a friend, if your friend has a friend that needs to sell a house, so that way they could make that referral and make that an easy deal for you. So these are absolutely great ways to get leads, but they're not the way it is I'd recommend when you're trying to really seek out leads. So always be having the conversations. If your broker provides leads and they're good quality leads and these are not at some sort of exorbitant cost that maybe you're having to pay monthly or per lead or anything like that, that's a great source of leads as well. And look, even if you do have to pay these costs, if you're making money with that, that's still a good investment. And with advertising, that is where you're spending money to get these leads. But if you're getting the return on your investment, then that's a great deal as well. And it's easy to get a return on an investment with advertising. If you have to spend $1,000 to get one lead, one deal that closes, and it will result in one deal closing, so you got to keep track of this. You might be able to get a lead for $10, but you might need 100 leads before you get a lead that actually will result in a closing. So if it ends up costing you $1,000, but you make $10,000 in commission, that's a phenomenal return on your investment. But you've got to be careful with this because it's easy to run out of money before you're able to capitalize on the leads it is that you have. And you want to really value these leads. If there's one thing that's important wherever it is that you're getting these leads, you have to treat these leads like the greatest thing it is that you've ever gotten. That you're so blessed to have gotten one of these leads. So however the lead comes to you, but you have to treat it that way. So many agents, they'll get a lead, and if they're not ready to buy right now, they're like, whatever, forget about them. They'll call me when they're ready. No, they won't. They're going to call whoever is that's out there seeking them out, and they're going to forget about you unless you maintain that relationship. So we're also going to talk about that later in today's show. The people it is that you're meeting, that you're talking to, that are leads, but they're not ready right now. They're not the low-hanging fruit. There may be somebody 6 months, a year from now. How to stay in contact and follow up with them as well until they are ready, so that way you have that relationship maintained and they will actually use you and not just call some other realtor when they are ready. Now, the last one that I want to mention here, then we're going to take a quick break. The number one way I recommend you as a new agent for finding leads is what's called sweat equity. So sweat equity, this is when you're working to get the leads, when you're having to do work. And look, I know a lot of people are getting their real estate license because they maybe don't like to work, and they're maybe looking for a more efficient way to make money. They maybe don't want to make minimum wage working 50 hours a week and not getting much in return for those 50 hours it is they put in. Maybe you are willing to work 50 hours, but you don't want to get minimum wage for that 50 hours it is that you work. Maybe you want to make thousands of dollars for that 50 hours it is that you work. That's where sweat equity comes in. Sweat equity is literally, so if we break this down, equity is, if we talk about equity in real estate, it's how much you actually own out of your property. And a lot of times you end up with this equity, this dollar amount that's not mortgaged, that's not financed out. A lot of times you end up with this equity just by the property appreciating in value. Well, the way it is that you get equity in your business without putting money in is by putting sweat in, by putting work in. And it's very cost effective with sweat equity strategies because you don't have to spend money for the sweat equity strategies because you're working instead of spending money. And this is a great way to get into the real estate business. This is how I recommend that you start your real estate career. we could take any agent that's out there. Any agents, we pull them and we ask them about how they started their real estate career. They might have spent some money on advertising. Maybe they got some leads from their broker. But I guarantee you, they'll tell you that their business really took off when they started investing sweat equity. It's not about investing money into your real estate business. Look, there's always somebody out there that has more money than you. And the reason why there's so many real estate professionals out there, and there's just not some big conglomerate that just puts money into it and all of a sudden they're the best real estate firm that's out there just because they have so much money behind them, because the money will only go so far. Money is great for advertising, but you need to have the sweat equity, whether you're using that sweat equity to actually get the leads in the first place, to work those leads, to convert those leads, to close the deals. But sweat equity is so important in this business. You want to learn it early. You want to see right away, because a lot of the people that are starting real estate, just because maybe they're not a fan of what it is that they're doing now, they don't like the work that they're doing, they don't feel like they're fairly compensated for what it is that they're doing. This is something you want to learn as soon as you can in the real estate industry, that your work can give you direct results if you're persistent through that process. So sweat equity will very much teach you that the work you put in will yield results. But you've got to be willing to put that work in and keep putting the work in until you do get results. And then you'll be amazed. I remember the first commission check I got. It wasn't much. I think it was only a few $1,000s because it wasn't that expensive of a home. But I was just, wow, look at this. Look at this. This is what and it's a great feeling. I mean, it's something, and it's still every time you get a commission check, really, that there's always that feeling of like, all right, yeah, I earned this. Because you do. You earn that money. And money just doesn't come automatically. You're earning it. And you see the fruits of your labor, of that work it is, the sweat equity that you're putting into your business. So we're going to talk about the methods for obtaining leads that are sweat equity strategies. Ways that are basically going to cost you zero or very minimal dollars and yield almost infinite return on your investment. And that's huge. Sweat equity makes an infinite return on your investment possible. The reason why is because you're not spending money and you're getting a huge return. What's the return on investment on $10,000 off of $0 in? You spend $0 and you make $10,000, that's an infinite return on your investment. Now, there is only so much work, and later in your career, you will have to transition into spending money on some advertising and things like that to keep generating business and keep growing your business. But sweat equity, there's a lot of agents that just make their business off of sweat equity. So that's what we're talking about today, these sources of leads. I want to dive into the sweat equity strategies that you could use as a new agent to really get your business rolling, to really learn the things that are important in your business. This is the way I recommend that you start your real estate business when you're looking for leads. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm John Carissimo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We do this every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you grow your business. Whether we're growing it from nothing when you're first starting out, or maybe you just find how today's topic can be relatable, even if you're not a new agent. Maybe you're at a point in your career where you're looking to get more deals. Maybe you've been squeaking by off of your sphere of influence or your broker, or maybe you've been spending a little bit of money on advertising, but look, the problem with just spending money on advertising when you're new to real estate, maybe you have money to spend on advertising, which is fantastic because that means that you're going to have a lot less stressful transition into your real estate career. But I don't recommend that you spend that money. Hold on to that money and wait until you're ready, until your business is ready. Because even working under a broker, you're a business within a business. You got to have your business ready. You've got to have systems in place. You've got to be ready to handle the higher volume that advertising will bring to you and not be throwing your money away because you're not treating those leads like gold. Sweat equity will teach you how important every lead it is that you get can be. Those leads are so important and are worth so much money. I mean, a $300,000 home, the full 6% commission on that might be split between the two agents, a 6% commission, not a full 6% because you know that's not a thing, but let's just say 6% commission, $18,000. You split that 50-50 between two offices, $9,000. So an average home in the Tampa Bay area, it's about $300,000 as the average home price currently, is worth $9,000 at a 3% commission. I mean, even factor in a broker split that you've got there, and you're still looking close to $10,000 for what each of these leads are worth. Yes, it may not be $10,000 today, but someday it will be. Now, before we get back into this and talk more about these sweat equity strategies, I want to mention real quick, give a shout out to Zach, watching all the way from Australia. So yeah, Zach's been a long-time viewer, and he knows what he's doing down in Australia. So thanks for tuning in, Zach, and adding the value that you had. So Zach's just got a couple things that I want to point out. So earlier I was talking about when you're communicating with your friends and family, and this is where you want to use each one of these. Each one of these have their place in your business. Now, the broker, these are almost like freebie type of leads here, and that's the one probably I would say that has the least place in your business. If you get them, great, but if not, don't count on them. Friends and family, they teach you to communicate about real estate. You're talking about real estate, you're talking to them about the stuff that Zach's talking about here. You know, traffic, about the school districts, about new developments, about the things that are going on. You want to talk to them, not so much with the intention to get business, but just to practice your ability to communicate while being not boring about real estate. Because it's real easy to talk about stuff, and I know this firsthand. I'll get talking about some real estate, I'll talk to my wife about real estate stuff, and she'll, sometimes I'll realize when she's, not paying attention anymore, and it's not her fault, it's just the stuff I'm trying to tell her isn't appealing to somebody who isn't a real estate professional. And we've got to realize that, and talking with our friends and family teaches us, okay, this is stuff that people are interested in, this is stuff that people could care less about. They couldn't care less. Advertising is great for growing your business, but sweat equity is the best way to really kind of jumpstart your business because it teaches you the value of the leads, and you could just keep going with sweat equity until you end up with a lead. So I want to talk about a few different methods we have for sweat equity. The way it is that it's probably the best way to get started with this. It's going to help get your feet in the water, and this is open houses. So open houses. We've done whole episodes of State of Real Estate before on open houses, and after the show, if you want to find out more about holding an open house, go to tampaschool.com/success. That's our success center. You'll be able to just type in open house in the search bar and see all the episodes we've done that pertain to open houses. So open houses are very much a sweat equity strategy. Now, with open houses, you might have to spend a little bit of money. Maybe get some drinks or refreshments, something like that, things that would help people stay at the open house so you have a moment to talk to them. Because look, here's your goal with an open house. Your goal with an open house is not to get them to buy the house it is that you're holding open. Again, we're not here to be the aggressive used car salesman. Oh, you buy this car today and I'll take half the price off of it. First of all, we're not in a position to take half the price off the houses that we're selling. And even if we were, I mean, we come across really kind of cringy If that's how we are. Hey, you want to buy this house? Come on, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you the down low of what the seller wants to take for. Just make me a contract right now. No one wants to talk to that guy. No one wants to talk to that girl. So that's not what our job is. Our job at the open house is to establish relationships with the people that are coming into the open house. That's your number one priority with an open house, is to build relationships with the clients that are the potential clients, I should call them, because they're not even your client until you start actively working with them, with these leads that are coming in to the open house. Because what happens with an open house? You really get one of two people. I would categorize everyone that comes into an open house one of two categories. Well, number one, what you're probably thinking is the people that are wanting to buy that house or thinking about buying that house. It's not your job to sell them that house. It's your job to build a relationship, find out what their interests are, and maybe that house is a good match for them, and maybe they do want to buy it. Great, we want to be the person that helps them buy it. But look, according to the National Association of Realtors, less than 1% of houses sell as a result of an open house. So that means you have your open house, you've got a 1 in 100 chance, really a less than 1 in 100 chance that they're going to buy, that you're going to get a contract for that house that you're holding open. So we're not trying to sell them that house. Look, and what we do in the brokerage business, brokerage means to bring together buyers and sellers. We're bringing together buyers and sellers. Maybe it's the seller of the house that we're holding open, but probably not. Again, 1 in 100 chance that will be the house. So what do we do then? We establish a relationship with them. We get to know what it is that they're looking for. And now we can help matchmake them with the house that's right for them. Because we have access to basically every house that's for sale in our market. That's the beauty of the MLS. And even if it's a for sale by owner, call up the for sale by owner ahead of time and say, hey, I've got somebody that really wants to buy your house. Will you pay me a commission if I bring them? And if they say no, okay, well, all right, we're going to go look at some other houses. Make sure you keep in mind antitrust laws and everything like that. But anyways, so open houses, your goal is not to sell that house. Your goal is to build relationships. So we talked about the one type of person you're going to have coming into the open house. One is what you would commonly think with open houses are people that are looking to buy the house or buy a house. Number two, the second category, and every person that comes into this open house, they're one of these two categories, if not both. They're either a buyer, or what's our other main type of client in real estate sales? Well, if they're not a buyer, they're a seller. So if the people at the open house are what a lot of agents will write off as nosy neighbors, if they're, just one of the nosy neighbors that wants to come over, check it out, maybe they're out there walking their dog, they figured they'd stop in, maybe they're out there pushing their kid in the stroller, and they're like, oh yeah, let's go check out this open house, oh look, it says they've got food, or whatever it is that they're coming in there just to freeload. Look, they're not freeloaders. The people that aren't interested in buying, well, what do you got to do before you buy? Well, before you buy, you've got to sell. And you might say, well, John, I mean, they're not wanting to sell. Are they? Maybe not today. You're probably right that they don't want to sell today. But are they going to need to sell their house at some point during their life? According to the National Association of Realtors, every 5 to 7 years is the average span that somebody owns a home and will go ahead and buy and sell a new home. The beauty of establishing this relationship now, it will require work. We're getting paid zero until we close a deal. But the beauty of building this relationship with them is when they are ready to sell their house, if we've got a good relationship with them and we've been staying in contact with them, they're going to us and they're not even going to consider anyone else because we're their guy or we're their girl, we're their professional in the real estate industry. So you want to value every single person that comes into your open house. They're either a buyer or a seller. The buyers are the people that want to buy right now, and those buyers might also be a seller. They might have a house that they haven't listed yet. Boom, double payday. Maybe a quadruple payday if we could really double end both of those contracts there. But you've got to value these clients. If this is a $300,000 house it is that you're holding open, you can assume that every one of you could have basically, if it helps you out, to have a price tag on each one of these clients' backs that you see in $9,000, $9,000, $9,000, $9,000. And maybe if they're buying a house and selling a house, boom, $18,000. Maybe you hit the lotto in real estate and You list their house, you find the buyer for their house, they want to buy one of your listings and you representing them on the buying side as well. Now that's a $36,000 payday because you're covering 4 ends of a transaction there. So each one of those clients coming in here is worth anywhere from $9,000 on the low end to $36,000 if we really hit the real estate lottery. For each client, you get 4 clients coming in, that's potentially $120, I think maybe $130,000 is the math on that, a little over $130,000. If each client is worth $36,000, I mean, that's huge, almost 150 grand for 4 people walking in, potentially. Or on the low end, if we want to shoot for the low end of this year, $36,000, right? Yeah, $36,000. So on the low end, $36,000 for 4 people. Eventually, no, it's not $36,000 today. They're not walking into the open house signing a check for $9,000 each, but that's what they're going to be worth eventually at some point in time. Whether it's today that they're that low-hanging fruit that needs to buy today, or they're maybe 6 months out, they're maybe a year out. There's people that'll look for houses years before they're ready to move. They might go looking for 2 years at different open houses, looking at neighborhoods, finding out where it is that you want to be. And yes, that is a long time to establish a relationship with them, but it's so worth it in the end because it doesn't take much to maintain these relationships with your clients. So with the open houses, you've got to really see this value that every person coming in can contribute to you. Now you've got to rise to the occasion. You got to step up to the plate and you got to say, what am I doing that makes me worth $9,000 to them? How do I earn that $9,000? And it starts off by just being a person, just being a human and establishing a relationship, not just some blood-sucking real estate agent that's just looking for the quickest, fastest deal and only sees dollar signs. It's good to understand how valuable these clients can actually be. But again, you've got to figure out now on your end, it's on you, what are you doing to earn that $9,000? And again, it might take some time. There's going to be the people that are ready right now. Maybe they want to buy that house, but they're looking to buy a house immediately. There's maybe people, the nosy neighbors that are coming in here. They've been thinking about selling. They're not sure if now is the right time to sell. That's how we add value to them. We help them understand the market. We help them understand how you could really market the property to its fullest potential and maybe even get above market value when you sell the property. That's how we add value. That's how we make ourselves worth the money it is that we charge. That's how we earn the commissions it is that we charge. We don't make money, we earn money. That's what you're doing in real estate. So open houses, they're great. And it really, it's a great place to practice. It's almost like a shooting range. You go to a shooting range to practice firing a gun. This is like your shooting range. I mean, you're not shooting anybody or anything like that at the open house, but you're practicing. This is where you practice. This is where you test out. You're practicing that communication. It's a lot easier to communicate with friends and family than it is with strangers that you're meeting at an open house, with random people that comes in. You got to figure out what you got to do. What do you got to start saying to really get the conversation going, to get them to want to hang out and talk to you for a few minutes, to understand how it is that you could kind of juggle 2 different sets of clients in the open house at the same time, because that'll happen pretty easily, that there's 2 different people, 2 different groups of people that come in at the same time. Well, who do you pick? Who do you give the most attention to? The answer is you figure out ways to give full attention to both of them. Maybe you gather them both together. Say, oh great, you guys are just in time. I'm about to go do a quick tour here. Come on and join the group here. I'm going to show you guys around. Did you want something to drink beforehand? Here, let's get you something to drink. Okay, great. Let's take a walk here. This is the kitchen, and now you're really this is your moment. And this is where open houses are fun too, because if you're doing them right, you shouldn't just be, so many agents, I've seen this before, they do terrible open houses where they'll sit at a table and just like, hi, welcome to the open house. I'm here if you have questions. Oh, okay, bye. And that's it. They just sit there and they wait for business to happen to them. No, don't do that. You want to be on it. You want to imagine that you're on Property Brothers, you're on House Hunters, you're on one of these HGTV shows and you're doing what they do, because that's what these people know. They see the lazy person sitting at the table that can't even get up to say hi to them. They see that and they're like, nope, they're not a professional. They're just somebody here holding the house open. Yeah, we don't want to buy this house. We don't have anything to do with them. You want to wow them. That's your chance to wow them, is when they're in this open house. Give them the grand tour. Do your Vanna White moves and check out this. And look at these beautiful recessed lights here. All of these lights are LED light bulbs, which will save you so much money a year. This house will almost pay for itself. Just kidding. It doesn't save you that much money, but it is nice to have there. And notice how you can maybe work in a little bit of humor. Your goal is to get these people to like you, to get the people to want to interact with you, to make you a pleasant person. And this is all like stuff that really it's not important for closing deals, but it is important for building that relationships, which is always primary to closing deals. You can't close a deal if you don't have anybody to close. So it's always first and foremost of building that rapport, building that relationship, building that trust. So open houses are probably one of the best ways of sweat equity. It shows you how to wow people. It shows you how to communicate with people. It shows you how to capitalize on potential leads. When you have a lead right there in your face, it's almost like fishing in a stocked pond. There's these ponds out there where they stock them with fish. They add the fish. These aren't even fish that are naturally there. They're adding the fish to these ponds for people to go in there and fish. That's what an open house is. It's a stocked pond. The fish are already there. You just got to know how to reel them in. You got to know how to entice them, because the fishes don't want to just go after some ugly looking rusty hook. If you're the person sitting down at the table saying, "Hey, how you doing?" You're a rusty hook, and no fish is going to want to bite that rusty looking hook with no bait on it. But you get one of these fancy lures that have the feathers on them, that are bright, that are shiny, that are colorful, that jingle around, and maybe you have some nice little food in there. That's where you might catch some fish. The fish are right there. They're coming right to you. You just got to reel them in. You got to know how to attract them and then pull them in. You can't let them get away either once you kind of start it. It's one thing to have the food, the refreshments, and have a nice personality, but now you got to know how to take the relationship to the next level, to move to second base with them, to say, okay, great, you met me, but now how do we work together? Making that transition there. And we could talk all day about how it is that you do this, but the best way to learn this, because everyone's personality is slightly different, is to get out there and do it. You're not going to catch every fish. There's going to be some that get away. There are going to be some that aren't even interested in your flashy, shiny baits and lure and all that other stuff. There's going to be some people that you miss. But the better it is that you get about hooking them and reeling them in, you'll learn that in open houses, and that's an essential skill, because whenever you're talking about friends and family, you find out, oh, this is somebody that needs to sell. Now, okay, what do I say? What are the things that I do to wow them, to show them I'm professional and get them to work with me? When you're going on listing appointments or showing properties to buyers, these are skills it is that you want to learn. This is like your playground where you're out there practicing. You got it's a stocked pond. The fish are there. You just got to figure out how to catch them. So that's open houses are so important. And some of you guys might have held an open house before and say, well, John, I did hold an open house, but I only had one person show up to my open house. That's a possibility if you're not properly promoting your open house. And there's advertising, spending money ways to promote an open house, as well as sweat equity ways to promote an open house. So we're going to talk about those that you could also use to really kind of make your open house the best it could be, because it's a great place to find clients, because you're almost guaranteed to have people that are low-hanging fruit coming in there that are ready to buy. They just haven't found the right place yet. And that open house probably isn't going to be the right place. It's a 1% chance that it is the right place for them. So there's going to be these people that are ready right now. And those are easy, low-hanging fruit deals to close if you can kind of figure out how to communicate with them, how to do this and that. But it's really discouraging, and it's hard to kind of be at the top of your game when you've been sitting in an open house for 2 hours and only one person comes in. So we're going to talk about how to get lots of people coming to your open house. Sweat equity strategies to get lots of people coming to your open house. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So stick with us. I'm John Grismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get
get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. We'll skip the whole introduction. You know who we are, Tampa School Real Estate, every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time. There we go. Let's get back into this because I'm having fun talking about this stuff. And before we get back into it, I do want to go ahead and point out some of the stuff that people are adding here. So Mark and Zach also commenting in. A shout out to Mark as well. He's been a long-time viewer. Took the real estate course with us. While back now, but yeah, he's definitely Tampa School Real Estate alumni, so welcome back onto the show, Mark. So Mark's adding here, and yes, married life is going good. Make sure you get everyone's info and follow up. That's correct. That's correct. That's where you're reeling them in. So we're talking about the stocked pond. The pond, if you don't fish, look, I'm not really much of a fisherman either, but just imagine there's this big pond of water. And there's this, you're paying to go there because they stock this pond with all these fish. That's basically what your open house is. You're guaranteed to have fish at an open house, to have people coming into an open house, even if it's just one. So you're going there. You got to have your shiny lure, your bait to get their attention. That's it. So initially getting their attention and showing them. So what type of attention do we want to get from them? The attention that we want to get is that, wow, this person is the most professional real estate agent I've ever seen. They're the best real estate agent out there. You want to make that first impression because everything after this will be so much easier if you could establish that right away. And, make yourself look decent. Don't go to an open house wearing like a hoodie and jeans. I know there's a lot of agents out there that like the casual look and everything like that. I'm a big proponent of classing it up a little bit, even if it's something a little bit more informal. I mean, I got the jeans on down here, but, I'm classing it up with a little jacket. If I take this off and I'm just wearing a t-shirt and jeans, but throw the jacket on, okay, I look a lot more professional. Maybe a little name tag, whatever it is, but make yourself look like somebody that you would want to do business with. You don't want to look like a bum at an open house because that's not going to wow them. So you got to look the part first off, but then you have to act the part as well. Hey, come with me, I'll give you guys the grand tour. And look, here's something that you would think would be bad, but it's ultimately going to get you some points with your clients, or potential clients, we'll call them, because they're not really clients yet. It's going to get you some points. So you're doing the grand tour with them. Come with me. I'll give you guys the grand tour, showcase everything here. So this is the kitchen. Fabulous kitchen. Nice granite countertops. It is a little bit on the small side. I know that. Is that a deal breaker for you? What are we doing here? So number one, and this is what gets us points with the clients, is not only are we pointing out the pros of the property, but we're pointing out the cons as well. Because this is what's going to lose you points. This is what's going to make people not trust you. You go show them this small kitchen. You say, oh, check out this kitchen here. It's a huge kitchen, isn't it? And they're thinking, no, this kitchen is the smallest kitchen ever. This guy doesn't even know what kitchens are supposed to look like. That's going to make you look bad. So you want to point out not just the pros, but the cons. The things, maybe the issues. And what you're doing, and notice how I kind of added that to the end. I said, and check out the kitchen here. It's newly updated. It is a little bit on the small side. Great quality, but the size of that, is that a deal breaker for you guys? Is that something that you really need to have? How important is it for you to have a large kitchen? Is that something you're even interested in? And we're extracting that information here. So we're getting points by pointing out the cons to them, but then we're finding out whether or not that's something that even matters to them. And this is stuff that you need to be keeping track of, whether you're using a clipboard, maybe some sort of iPad, or some way to keep track of what their preferences are. And that's something Zach was pointing out here, finding out about their needs and whatnot. Let's see here. Focus on the specific house's benefits. So yeah, point out the benefits, but also point out the negatives of the property, and then find out if those negatives are a deal breaker. Because here's something you need to learn very quickly in real estate. There's no such thing as a perfect house. There's no such thing as a perfect house. Even if it seems perfect at first, there's going to be issues. There's going to be problems with it. And the sooner you realize that there's not going to be a perfect property, and you can get your clients on that same page that there will not be a perfect property, because that question that I asked, the kitchen is a little bit on the small side. Is that a deal breaker for you guys here? And they're like, oh, no, we don't even really cook at home much. We usually order in. Perfect. Great. You don't need a big kitchen. Don't need big kitchen. Put that down on your notes. We know that the kitchen size is not important to them. Now, there might be let's say there's another couple that's touring the property with us. How about you guys? What do you think of the kitchen here? Oh, yeah, it is a little bit on the small side. We like to do a lot of entertaining. Okay, yeah, definitely understand that. Yeah, if you do entertaining, you'll definitely want a bigger kitchen. Okay, bigger kitchen for them. Joe and Pam, bigger kitchen. Sue and Bob don't care about kitchen size. Keep track of them. And now, how do we know who it is? We don't say tall guy and short girl in there. We want their names. Hey, welcome to the open house here. My name's John. What is your name? And now we've got their name. We write that down. This is how we start to establish this relationship. And then we transition to that. Hey, Bob, what do you think about this kitchen? I know it's a little on the small side. Is that a deal breaker for you? Do you guys need a big kitchen? No, we don't need a big kitchen. We actually don't. Do you cook at home much? No, we really don't. And if we do, it's just we're using the microwave. Okay, great. So yeah, you guys don't need a big kitchen, do you? Okay, yeah. And then maybe if it is somebody that maybe the kitchen is too big. Who knows? Maybe the kitchen is too big. Hey, yeah, this kitchen is huge. It does take up a lot of space here. Do you guys do a lot of entertaining? No, we don't. Yeah. You might like the rest of this house, and would that be a deal breaker, the size of this kitchen? No, it wouldn't? Okay, great. Well, let's keep looking. And then we find out these things. Yeah, is this a deal breaker? Yeah, it kind of is. Okay, well, you know what? I actually think I have a couple other properties that I could show you that are similar to this one here, but they have that smaller kitchen, or they have the bigger kitchen, or whatever it is that is the deal breaker for them. We're building the relationship, we're finding out about their interest, and then we're finding out what that threshold is, what things we have to have and what things they don't care about. Because again, there's no such thing as a perfect property. They might not like the small kitchen, but it might not be a deal breaker. They might love every other part of the house, and the kitchen, they could live with that. So again, there's not going to be perfect houses. Sometimes you have clients that are looking for the perfect house. And rather than just telling them, hey, that there's no such thing as a perfect house, because you're just going to look like a for lack of a better term, which you could imagine the better term it is that I'm thinking of right here, rather than looking just maybe like a rude person, we'll say that, keep this PG on here. So rather than just being a rude person, when saying, well, you're not going to find a perfect house, look, they're not going to want to talk to you. They're going to be offended that you spoke to them like that, and they're going to go find somebody else that's nice to them, that they like, that they want to do business with. So that's about pulling that information out. And we've got a lot of great episodes on open houses. Go onto our Success Center after the show and you can see more about the open houses. But let's talk about something important, getting people in the open house. So the open house is great if you've got people coming in. If you don't have anybody that shows up at your open house, and there's almost always at least one. You hold a house open for 4 hours, unless it's in the middle of nowhere, you're probably going to get at least one person that comes into the open house. Now, if we're just getting one person there, we're kind of wasting our time. Yeah, that one person might be worth $9,000, maybe even more than that if the house is a higher price house. Who knows? Maybe that one client, you only need one, but you want many more than one. And that one person that does come in on the plus side, yeah, that might be a low-hanging fruit. It might be your lucky day. You get one person that comes in that wants to buy that particular house, and you just make a quick $9,000. Or this one person is somebody that does want to buy, just not today. Well, that's great 6 months from now when they are ready to buy, and especially if you've maintained that relationship. But what are we going to do now for, putting food on the table, for paying our mortgage, for paying rent if you're renting, for paying your car payment, for paying realtor dues and all these other things? Well, we can't rely on just one person coming into the open house. We do not want to. Our open house is a failure. Even though that one client might be low-hanging fruit, and ultimately that would be a win, in the moment there, your open house is a failure if you're only getting one person. Even if you're only getting 2 people. If you're getting 3 people or 4 people, you still have so much room for improvement. So let's talk about how we get more bodies in the open house. The more people it is that we get in the open house, the more successful our open house is going to be. So let's talk first about the sweat equity strategies to get people to the open house. Something I highly recommend that you do is door knock with a flyer. Now, you might be wondering where you're going to be door knocking. The neighborhood, the immediate surroundings of that open house. So, let's say here's your open house. I'll draw this in like a little street here. So, there's your open house. You want to go around to the entire neighborhood, knocking on their doors, telling them about the open house. And you might say, well, John, no one's going to want to move across the street or down the street. That's a lie. That is not true. There are people all the time that will move just simply down the street. They love the neighborhood, but maybe they just want a bigger house or a smaller house or a better spot in the neighborhood, or maybe they just don't like their neighbors. They want to move away from the neighbors it is that they have now. So don't say that they won't move to the same neighborhood, because that is something that happens as well. Now, it's probably not going to happen because that is uncommon. It does happen quite a bit, but it is uncommon compared to what most people want. But the reason why it is that we're knocking on the door. So we're going in there, we're going knocking on the door. Hey, my name is John Carissimo from ABC Realty. I just wanted to come here and introduce myself. I'm holding an open house tomorrow afternoon at 123 Main Street, or whatever the address is. I brought you guys a flyer here. Now, I know you guys probably aren't looking for a home right now, are you? No, I didn't think you were. See, what we're doing there, and I could really break down everything it is that I'm saying here. We say, oh, well, you guys aren't looking to buy a home right now, because they see us showing up at their door. They think that we're trying to sell them this house. And so we want to nip that in the bud right away. And notice how I didn't even have a pause there. I said, hey, my name's John Carissimo from ABC Realty. Just real quick, I wanted to stop by and let you know that I'm holding an open house down the street at 123 Main Street tomorrow. I know you guys probably aren't looking to buy a house, and if you were, it's not going to be in the same neighborhood. But before I assume that, are you guys looking to buy a house? No, I didn't think you were. Look, I just wanted to stop by and invite you over to come check it out. We're going to have some great refreshments and drinks, even got some music there, almost like a little party, and I'm sure you guys are kind of curious what that house looks like on the inside. They've actually done some really neat upgrades. I highly recommend you guys check it out. And we're just kind of starting this conversation, and we try to get them talking here, and maybe we ask some questions. How long have you guys been in the neighborhood? I just had a couple questions, maybe this. I had a couple questions about the neighborhood, just so I'm better prepared for tomorrow. What do you think is the best part of living here? Okay, and just so I give a fair representation, what do you not like about living here? And so what we're doing is we're finding out, we're meeting the neighbors. And when they can start to answer these non-yes or no questions, this is where we get them to open up to us. What is it that you guys like? Just so I could give, if you have a minute, I just want to ask you a couple questions about the neighborhood so I could help make sure I'm able to best present that tomorrow. Do you have a couple minutes just to answer a couple quick questions for me? Oh, thank you so much for your help. Can you tell me just what's your favorite part about living in this neighborhood? What's the best part about living here? What's the best part of living in Seven Oaks or whatever this neighborhood is? And then they start to talk to you. Okay, great. That's great information. You're maybe writing that down, or at least writing something down so it doesn't look like you're just there wasting their time. Great. Oh, thank you so much for that. That's so helpful. What do you not like about living in this neighborhood here? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, thank you for that. And now, if you guys were to move, where would it be that you wanted to move to? Oh, we really don't have any intention of moving. Oh, I know, but let's say you had to move. Where would you want to move to? I would say probably this place. Okay, great. Yeah, I want to check that neighborhood out. I've definitely heard some really great things about it here. And how long have you guys lived in this house? Oh, we've been here about 8 years. That tells us, okay, they're beyond the average. They're going to be selling probably sooner rather than later. Okay, yeah, cool. What made you guys want to move here in the first place? And now we're just starting to build the relationship and talk to them more like a person. We already nip in the bud right away that we're not there to sell them something. We're not trying to hawk cleaning products on them, say, oh, you check this out here, check out this little cleaner thing, buy it now. No, we're just there to talk to them, to chat with them. And maybe we end it with something like, hey, I know you guys aren't looking to sell right now, but I'd highly recommend that you guys get on our email updates every month where it gives you updates on the market, so that way you're informed of when you're ready to sell, what the best time to sell that property would be. Do you get those already? No, I know there's a couple people that don't get them in the neighborhood already. What's your email address? I'll go ahead and add you to that list. Okay, great. And then I also want to send you a text message just to make sure you get the email, because a lot of times the emails don't always make it in there. What is a good number for me to text you at? Okay, great. Thanks again. And again, my name is John from ABC Realty. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow at the open house. Look, even if they didn't show up at the open house, we just did a great job building a relationship with them. And I know I ran through a lot of that stuff quickly. If you want more tips on door knocking, again, we've got great videos on our Success Center specifically about door knocking that kind of go in details with that. But what we're doing here, so what happens? And what we're doing here, hopefully we're going to get some of these neighbors to come show up at our open house, gives us an opportunity to further our relationship with them and now showcase us in our element, our professional element that is our open house here, to really show how great it is that we are. Because if they do show up at the open house, there's somebody who is thinking of selling. Even if they told you they're not ready to sell yet, if they show up at your open house, they're definitely, they either really like you or they're highly considering selling the house. And hopefully the combination of the two. They like you, they want to come there, and they are considering selling their house, and they want to see, maybe learn more about you. They want to see the other houses in the neighborhood that are for sale. So we're going door to door knocking on this, and sometimes people won't answer their door. Maybe they're not home, maybe they are home, and they just peek out the window and they say, oh no, somebody trying to sell me something. Turn off all the lights. Or whatever it may be, and you're going to come across those people, and then you'll find the people that'll just try to cut you off right away. Oh, no, I'm not interested. Those are the best learning experiences, because you can kind of find out how to get them to talk to you even though they don't want to. Remember, figuring out how to communicate with people about real estate. And then you'll have the people that are really open to talking to you. But again, you got to go from that aspect of, hey, look, you're just trying to chat with them. Look, I'm not here to buy or to sell you anything right now, because a lot of times people will answer the door, say, oh, no, we're not interested. Oh, well, look, I'm not here to sell you guys anything. I'm just, my name is, and now you just kind of roll into your pitch of who you are, what you're doing, and you just want to get some quick feedback about the neighborhood so you're better prepared for tomorrow. If you've got 30 seconds for me, that'd be phenomenal. Okay, thank you so much. And notice how you're so grateful for that type of stuff, and that makes them want to talk to you more. So we're doing that. We're at the very least establishing a relationship. We're getting their email, we're getting their phone number, we're getting their name, so we've got their contact info. Ideally, we want to know all the people in this neighborhood and know when they're ready to buy, when they're ready to sell, so that way we could swoop in right at the right moment and get the deals. But without the knowledge, without the intel, we can't do that. So that's why it's really good to door knock with the flyers. And for the people that don't answer the door, that aren't home or really maybe not home, you leave one of the flyers on the door and you maybe write on it, carry around a little Sharpie or a pen with you. Sorry I missed you. Just wanted to invite you to the open house tomorrow. You write that on it, maybe tape it on the door, maybe put it on a rubber band, whatever it is that you want to do around the door handle, maybe stick it in the door jamb. I mean, there's so many ways it is you can do that. But even do that, because you might even have the people that you didn't even get to talk to will show up at your open house. And that alone will really get your open house pumping, especially if you really get out there and talk to a lot of people. Another way it is that you could do, maybe a less sweat equity strategy than this, is to advertise the open house. Now, I talked about advertising already, and I still don't recommend, if you're new and you've maybe never done an open house before, don't waste money advertising the open house. Get in there, try to figure out how to do an open house, how to actually talk to people before you start dumping money into advertising, trying to get people to the open house. Because what will happen, if you run a decent ad, and I mean, Facebook, you could spend 10, 15, maybe $20 and reach quite a bit of people. You could maybe target the people in this neighborhood. And this is something I absolutely recommend that you do once you know how to hold a good open house, that you start advertising it and you start trying to attract more people to the open house. You maybe do a video just like what we had in that door knocking conversation. Hey, John Chrisman here. I'm standing in front of 123 Main Street. We're holding an open house Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're going to have drinks, refreshments, as well as a really great house here. I highly recommend you stop by. I think there's something here that might be for you. Again, that address is 123 Main Street. If you have questions, give me a call. But otherwise, I'll see you guys Saturday. And then maybe you have a link to RSVP for the open house as well, where they fill out a little contact form and let you know what time they're coming so you know when to expect them. And they might not show up at the time. They might not show up at all. But when they fill out that RSVP form, now we could follow up with them. Now we have the contact information already before they even show up at the open house. So open houses can be a gold mine. Whether you're a new agent or an experienced agent, you should always be doing open houses. If you don't have anything better to do on a Saturday, you should be doing an open house. Or maybe on Saturday you're busy, do it on Sunday. Maybe it's football season, you do it on Saturday. Or you do it on Sunday because you don't care about football season and you know there's other people out there that don't care about football season either. So open houses are huge. They're one of the best ways that I recommend that you start your real estate career because it gives you that playground to practice your skills. It gives you opportunities to go out there and get to know the neighborhood, get to know the neighbors, bring them in there, and now you're knocking on the door with a reason. Hey, I wanted to stop by to invite you to the open house tomorrow down the street. I know you guys probably don't want to buy right now, but I definitely recommend you check it out. We're going to have some great drinks and refreshments. Do you like sandwiches? Who says no to that? Some people might say, no, I'm not really a fan of sandwiches. Well, have you had Right sandwiches? No, I haven't. Oh, they've got the best sandwiches. We're going to have a great spread of them tomorrow. Even if it's just to come by, stop by and grab a sandwich. Look, come on over. I've got people paying for these sandwiches, so it's not on my pocket. So come on in. And I've got way more food than I'll be able to go home with. So come on down and get yourself a sandwich. Even if it's just at the very least. It's not the best pitch, but at least you're getting them there to have an opportunity to better communicate with them. So open houses are a great opportunity. You'll get to a point in your business where you are busy on Saturdays and you don't have time to do open houses. And here's your options at that point. You build out a team where you do have people who can do the open houses and carry out the same practices you use to make your business successful. Or, you just pay money to advertise. But open houses, you advertise an open house, this is really going to give you a much higher return on investment than just regular buyer and seller advertising. Open houses are great because it gives you that opportunity to have the face-to-face interaction, and they're coming to you at the open house. You might have to go to them first and go knock on their door and invite them to the open house, but eventually you get them coming to you, and that's where you have the power then at that point there. And this is your opportunity to really showcase and wow yourself. So if you take away anything from today's episode, it's open houses. You need to be doing them. If you're new to real estate, do an open house every weekend, if not Saturday and Sunday of every weekend. I've seen people do open houses during the week before. I've never personally done them, and that's just because most people are busy during the week. You will come across people that are not busy during the week. But the weekends is where people want to go out and look for houses. Hey, maybe in your market the week works better, but in most markets it's going to be the weekends that look better. So again, if you're new to real estate, you need to be doing open houses every weekend. And you might be saying, well, how do I get a house to hold open? How do I do an open house? Real quick, because we're pretty much out of time for today. 2 ways I want to give you for getting open houses. Number one, borrow from your broker. So that's a huge opportunity that you have from your broker. If you still haven't chosen a broker yet and you want to do open houses, I mean, if you've got your own listings, then you could hold your own listings open. But if you don't have any listings yet, that's where you could go to your broker and say, hey, what properties do you have that I could do an open house for? I really want to do an open house. I want to do an open house every weekend. What listings can we line up that I could do open houses for? And don't expect them to come to you and ask you to do an open house. They're busy with other things. Other agents are busy with things. Maybe your broker doesn't have any properties, but maybe there's another agent in your office who's busy, who would like to have open houses, but doesn't have time for open houses. And most of these agents will say, oh yeah, definitely, do an open house. And if you get the buyer, then you're going to get that side of the commission. And if they're a little hesitant on that, they say, oh no, well, that's my listing. I really don't want to have you do the open house. If push comes to shove, hey, look, I'll pay you 25% of my commission if I sell this house. Okay, well, all right, you know what, fine, you got it. You go hold an open house. I'll let the seller know, make sure that day's good for them, that we're going to do an open house, and, that's good. We could definitely work together in the future if they're getting paid for you to hold an open house. You shouldn't have to do that. But again, if push comes to shove and that's your only source that you could find for a listing for an open house, then do that. Or, if you don't want to do that either, go to for sale by owner. Call up a for sale by owner. Here's a really kind of a cool change of pace. Hey, I know you're selling the house. My name is John from ABC Realty. I know you've been getting calls from all kinds of realtors trying to get you to list the property with them. Look, I'm not here to get you to list the property. I know if you want to list it, you'll probably use me anyways. What I want to offer you guys is at no charge to you, let me hold an open house. If there's a buyer that wants to buy the house, if you guys want to pay me for that, that's fine. But if you don't, I don't care. I need to find some clients and I want to hold an open house. I figured it'd be great that you guys get some exposure for your house while I am potentially going to pick up some clients for the property. Does this weekend work for you, or would next weekend be better? Oh, no, that doesn't sound like anything we want. We'll just do our own open house. I was like, oh, well, look, I completely understand that. I know you probably don't want to get somebody in here, and you probably think that I'm trying to pull some sort of trick or scheme with you guys or anything like that. And then maybe explain to them a little bit about this. Look, only 1% of houses sell as a result of an open house. With as many people that I'll bring in there, because I'm going to advertise and market and knock on some doors for this house, there's going to be a lot of people coming in there, so we're really going to have a higher odds of probably selling this house. But look, it's a win-win for you and me. Look, if you guys want to pay me, that's fine, but I'm not going to ask you for a payment if you don't want to pay me. I understand that you might not have the means with the equity you have in the house. I know the real estate market, you might have left you with too much of a loan balance. You sympathize with them and things like that. And I mean, persistence is ultimately the key with this here. You keep them on the phone long enough telling them how great it is that this open house is and how there's no obligation to them, how you're the one doing all the work, and then you can get a listing. Or you just borrow one from your broker. Or there's so many ways to this. You just got to get creative with this type of stuff. But get out there and do open houses. Look, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. And one more thing we've got on here. I want to, before we sign off here, we got a question from Alex over on YouTube. New agent, and I target different groups on Facebook and reach 2,000 to 3,000 people, and it doesn't cost anything. Yeah, oh yeah, so not even really a question, but just kind of the effectiveness of Facebook. So Facebook advertising is really great, and if you're doing this with the open house, target within a certain radius of your open house. You could do that very easily in Facebook, and now not only are these people seeing you at the door, they're seeing you around there. Look, if you do spend money on advertising when you're first getting started out, keep it at a minimum. Never spend more money than you're going to be able to consistently spend over time, because you don't want to be underwater. You don't want to end up racking up all these advertising expenses without having any return on investment. But it could definitely help you out with an open house, give you an extra push to get people to see the open house and get them out there so you've got more people coming in. But that open house thing is huge. So yeah, definitely, Alex, thanks for that that technical aspect. Facebook advertising is super cheap for what is possible if it's used correctly. Look, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to find out more about open houses, about door knocking, about advertising, about using your sphere of influence, we've got videos on all of these topics on our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, SUCCESS, tampaschool.com/success. Just pop that in your web browser, all lowercase. That'll take you right to our Success Center. You pop in the search open houses or advertising or door knocking, you're going to see tons of videos all about these topics that help you through these processes, that help make you successful in real estate. So check that out. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. If you're looking to start or enhance your real estate career, give us a call. The phone number is 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and I'll see you next week.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get
get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate.